So our lead this hour coming from Pro Bouncy Ball. That's right. Now, it is not a deep dive on one of the games played on Sunday. There were a bunch of games. No. Instead, it's about alleged superstar, former number 1 overall pick in the draft, who has fallen on hard times here and is missing in action, has gone AWOL. And it's a very compelling story. It's the catch of the day, if you will, here in the NBA. And if you thought that Ben Simmons was going to make his debut for the Nets in the game on Monday night, you are a loser. Now, I'm not sure if you saw this or not. Maybe you have a life. Maybe you're out doing things. You might have missed it. But we learned over the weekend that Ben Simmons will not play in game number 4. And that could be it. That could be all she wrote for Brooklyn, their playoff series against Boston. And that means it's quite possible that Ben Simmons will not play a single second this entire season. That's his last best chance to play. There were some optimistic reports at the end of last week. We were here chronicling some of those reports. The Nets listed Ben Simmons as out for Sunday, though, and they claim his back. Oh, my aching back. He's got the back of an 80-year-old. He's in his 20s, but he's got the back of an 80-year-old, so he'll miss the game on Monday night. The Nets will seemingly attempt to avoid being swept, the shame and indignity of being swept by the Celtics. Now, that decision led to a monsoon raining down criticism directed at the Aussie. The Aussie muffed it, you could say, and some have here. Now, Reggie Miller led the cavalry. The Hall of Fame guard and occasional TNT commentator unloaded, saying, quote, "Come on, man, out for game 4 when it was rumored you were going to make your debut. This dude has 0 competitive fire." He used the fire emoji. Miller posting that on social media as small a chance as the Nets have to come back. Miller continued, "In this series, you still have KD and Kyrie. All you need is to win one game and take it from there. Hashtag man up." Well, Ben Simmons does not believe in hashtag man up. Ben Simmons believes in hashtag sit took us down. That's what he believes in. Now, the part of that quote, which is what we call the money quote, is the lack of competitive fire. Reggie Miller, a Hall of Famer. Reggie Miller, who played in some big games, and the Pacers often ended up on the wrong side of many big games against the Chicago Bulls, for example. But he was there. He didn't sit it out. He didn't tap out, Reggie Miller. He wasn't a coward like some other people. So let us discuss the question. Reggie Miller saying that Ben Simmons has 0 competitive fire. Are you in or out on that particular statement? So I am all in. I'm pushing my chips to the middle of the table. I've got court-martialed, Robin Thicke, and hardwired. And we will lock all of these things together. Now, number one. So Ben Simmons is living up to every stereotype that's been out there about Ben Simmons. It's not that hard. It's very straightforward here. We like stories like this. They're easy. You don't have to use a lot of brain power. This guy doesn't whisper. He screams aloofness. Ben Simmons is an enigma, is what this guy is. There's no need to pull punches on this. Simmons is content to sit his ass on the bench and get hemorrhoids. He's fine with that. He's unconcerned about how the rank and file of the fan base think of him, how former players think of him. He doesn't care about any of that. Completely detached Ben Simmons. All right? And you talk about a guy should be court-martialed. This is the guy brought up on grand larceny charges, the unlawful taking of a salary while impersonating a professional basketball player. Now, it is true that Simmons lost a bunch of money, and he's trying to get that money back, chances are he'll get some of it back from Philadelphia. But Ben Simmons has been able to shoplift millions of dollars from the 76ers and the Nets. And the guys in Philly have to have that fish-eating grin on their face. Daryl Morey, that you got rid of this 10-pound bag of crap, and you can be smug as you want because you sent him over to Brooklyn. And what a bunch of doofuses the Brooklyn Nets are to take this guy on. What were they thinking in Brooklyn? Now, listen, let me tell you something. James Harden is not a bowl of cherries. He's not. But at least he tries. At least he plays occasionally. Not Ben Simmons. Now, secondly, all right, at the end of last week, let's go back in the Wayback Machine. So Shams Charania, all right, Shams Charania. Now, he reported that Ben Simmons was planning on playing in Game 4. Was the report bogus? I say it was not a bogus report. What changed over the weekend? So I have a theory on this. All right, the theory is the report was actually factually based, that it was Ben Simmons was going to play, right? And the reason I say that is Shams is the mouthpiece for Ben Simmons. They're all under the same umbrella. Think of this like that song not that long ago from Robin Thicke, Blurred Lines. There are a lot of blurred lines in this. It's the fourth wall that has been broken. Shams Charania is represented by the United Talent Agency, which partnered with Clutch Sports to form their own sports division under the United Talent Agency. The head of that division is, wait for it, Rich Paul. So, in other words, Shams Charania is under the umbrella of Rich Paul. Even though the claims are that Rich Paul does not directly represent Shams, it's blurry, it's foggy. Everyone's in bed with everyone else. It's like an orgy. And so what changed? What changed over the week? I'll tell you what I believe happened here. So what changed is that the assumption was Brooklyn was going to win the game on Saturday, that they were going to win that game, so it would be a 2-1 series. Ben Simmons comes back for Game 4. It's not an elimination game. It's a 2-1 series. Nets would have a chance Monday night to even it up. And so the Nets lost that game, destroying the best laid plans of the franchise there and Ben Simmons. And so now Brooklyn is right up against the electric chair. They're down 0-3 to Jason Tatum, who's grown some hair on his chest in this series, and the Boston Celtics, who have the Nets on the brink of elimination. So now they had to reevaluate things. Ben Simmons, it's like, well, wait a minute. I can't play. What if I go out there and I don't play well and then we lose? Oh, my. So being soft serve rather than embrace the opportunity as a challenge to achieve the impossible, what a great way to come back. See, there's two ways to look at this. If you're Ben Simmons, you say, okay, I'm down with it, but now I come back and I lead the way. I'm the guiding light for this historic comeback. It's never happened before in NBA history, a team coming back from down 3 games to love, and this could be it. There's that attitude, and then there's Ben Simmons' attitude. No, my aching back. Oh, my aching back. I need to sit down. Woo, boo, 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 boo. That's Ben Simmons. Right? Ben Simmons, rather than try to achieve the impossible, he's very content being the trope of the French soldier and giving up. Retreat! Cry uncle! Forget perseverance. I'm going to check out. I'm out of here. If Ben Simmons had played in Game 4, this is a crazy statistic that has been bouncing around here, but if Simmons had played in Game 4 for Brooklyn and the Nets ended up losing, the Celtics eliminated them, then Simmons would be the first and only player in the history of that sport to be eliminated from the playoffs in back-to-back games. His last game was with Philadelphia, was the elimination game in last year's playoffs, and now here he would lose in his first game this year. So now what Ben Simmons is pulling for. You think, we're on in Boston right now, there's a lot of people listening in Boston. You think you're a big Celtic fan? No. Ben Simmons is the biggest Boston fan. I'm telling you, he's going to be cheerleading for the Celtics. He wants Boston to win. Ben Simmons, he won't say it publicly, but deep down, Ben Simmons wants the Celtics to win. That way he doesn't have to worry about the question lingering for a Game 5. Just end it Monday night, end it. All right, final point. So going forward, you are the Brooklyn front office. How do the Nets handle Ben Simmons going forward? Now, this one is open and shut. You cut your losses. You made a mistake. You're the dummy in the room. Trading James Harden away was not the issue. But getting back this guy, the enigma, Ben Simmons, right? It seemed like a good idea at the time. But if Brooklyn has a sense of knowledge of this situation, if they have any kind of horse sense, then they say bye-bye. All right, bye-bye and flip Ben Simmons again. There's always another sucker. The bigger idiot theory, the greater fool theory. Find the greater fool. And I would advise you to send Simmons to basketball Siberia. Take pennies on the dollar. You're going to have to take a loss on this. Nothing gained, nothing lost. Let Ben Simmons sit on the bench in his fashionista outfits there in Sacramento or Orlando. Off the map in the NBA boondocks. And that would be some form of hoops justice. It boggles the mind that Ben Simmons is wired this way, but that's just the way it is. And based on his body of work, or should I say the body of lethargy. I mean, he's lethargic. He's just hardwired that way, right? Fans have, you're in trouble when the fans have more passion than the player. That's a bad sign. That is generally a bad sign. And so if you have a dog with fleas, you give it a flea bath. You got a dog with fleas. Right, and what's that old line? We need dogs. We don't need no meows. No. We don't need no cats. We need more dogs, and not dogs with fleas. By the way, the lack of gumption.
No meows. We don't need no cats. We need more dogs.
Yes, damn right. But the lack of gumption—that's the thing here. And there's still a few people defending Ben Simmons. These people are called losers. But they're out there. There's a few of them. Anyone with common sense who's lived in the real world knows if you don't show up to work, you're not really working. I mean, I'm not going to show up. He did a wildcat strike to get out of Philly. Now he goes to Brooklyn. Hasn't played in Brooklyn. It's a joke. It's a joke. And the NBA, they are helping him out because they continue to make excuses. The Sixers publicly did before they got rid of him, and now the Brooklyn Nets are doing similar things. They're doing similar things.